Welcome to this edition of the Purity Post. My name is Jonathan, and you can learn more about our ministry at bebroken.com. Everybody loves a good story. The drama, the suspense, the unexpected twists and turns that draw us into the characters and the momentum of the plot. We like it when good triumphs over evil and when, in the end, the guy wins the girl. And even sad stories capture us as we feel the emotion of each character as they suffer or grieve. What seems to be consistent in all good stories is some piece of reality to which we can connect it. We like to think that what compels us to become enthralled in a really good story could somehow happen, even in the smallest sense, in our own lives. When I was a kid, I watched Superman, and what a great story. This tiny baby gets jetted off a distant planet just before it gets destroyed, and then he lands on Earth. But Superman isn't like other babies. No, this kid has special gifts. He was faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, and able to leap tall buildings in a single bound, or something like that. But his powers weren't what actually made the story great. It was his struggle with how to use his powers that drew me into the story. Would he hide his special abilities and just try to fit in to this foreign culture of human beings? Or would he use his power for selfish gain? What little boy hasn't wished for X-ray vision? But he knows deep inside that such gifts are to be used for good, to save lives and resist evil. That makes the story great, and it's why I would wear a cape and pretend I was flying and become Superman. We don't just love good stories, we want to be part of a good story. We all want what the good stories offer, a spark that moves others to respond. We want our lives to compel someone to put on a cape and emulate the good that we're striving for. But a problem arises when we engage this pursuit. We discover we can't achieve good or offer the perfect story for others to admire. And rather than continuing our search to be part of a great story, we just give up, we tuck our head, and we resolve that Clark Kent is as close to the dream as we can get. But I believe there's another way, a way you and I can be part of the best story. Superman is cool and did some pretty wild stunts, like reversing the Earth's rotation to rewind time. But while Superman is cool, he's got nothing on Jesus. Also, Superman isn't real. Jesus created the heavens and the earth. He raised men from the dead. He walked on the water. He fed thousands with a handful of fish and bread and made a way for us to be part of his story forever. Jesus' story is the most compelling of all, and it started a bit like Superman's story. Jesus left his place in heaven to be born as a baby on earth. He came on a mission to save human beings from the deadly effects of sin. And he too was tempted to use his power for selfish gain and abandon his mission. But he chose to complete his mission and sacrifice himself to pay the penalty that we all owed to God for our sin. And upon completing his mission, he then offered to us the simplest way possible to cross from death to life: faith. Everyone who believes in Jesus becomes part of a new story, one with a great ending. But what about your story to this point? Does it matter? Is it worth telling? Absolutely. No matter what your story includes, it matters. It may not seem compelling to you, or interesting, or dramatic, or mysterious, or anything that resembles a blockbuster Hollywood hit. But you are precious to God. So much so that even before you took your first breath, he was reading your story. With rapt attention, I might add. He loves you, total story included. Here at Be Broken Ministries, we value stories. It matters immensely to us when a man or woman just like you takes that courageous step to spill your guts and share your story. A story of pain, of secrets, of sin, of betrayal, of lust, of anger, of shame, of everything. Nervously, you might dip your toes in the water, wondering if a shark is circling, just waiting to devour you once you jump in all the way. But there's no shark. Only regular people who want to help broken people just like you pursue greater integrity. And as more and more of your story comes out, the light of Jesus cascades into the hidden places in your soul, and a new sense of hope and freedom and direction is realized. Could it be that the way out of your bondage might come by way of telling your story? It seems too simple, so it must not be, right? I mean, how could sharing a story matter that much? Romans 10:7 says, "So faith comes from hearing, and hearing through the word of Christ." No one comes to God without faith, and no one acquires faith without hearing God's story. What a picture. The God of all things telling us a story that changes everything. But what moves me most about this picture is that after God tells his story, he sits quietly, patiently, and says to us, "Tell me your story." For some of you, he's still waiting, and he's still interested. Why? Because your story matters. Thanks for watching this edition of the Purity Post. If you'd like more resources, please visit BeBroken.com or call our toll-free number at 1-800-49-PURITY. Keep pressing on.